Welcome, Rotarians and guests. Oops, guess I better check my sound. Welcome, Rotarians and guests, to the most fun club in all of Rotary, the Rotary Club of Little Rock. I am past President Christina Bullhouse. Your current president, Natalie Gadati, is stuck right now in New York City. She is hoping to join us off camera as she's navigating Ubers and the hotels and trying to get a flight out of there. But I hope everyone is enjoying a snow day and are thankful you could join us today by Zoom. Before we get started today, I'd like to invite Sarah Beth Estes to lead us in the 5-way test, pledge, and prayer.
Sarah Beth, you are muted.
Thank you very much. I was thinking you all were very silent, so thank you. Let's start that over. 5-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill
and better
friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And of course, is it fun?
All right. Thank you for that, Sarah Beth.
And now will you please join me in a prayer of gratitude? We take this moment to reflect in unity, acknowledging the diversity of beliefs represented here. In this gathering, we embrace the shared values that connect us all, and we express gratitude for this gift of fellowship, for the fact that we can be together in Zoom, warm and safe in such challenging weather. May our collective efforts contribute to the same warmth and safety for all members of our community. Amen. And then finally, please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you again. That was fantastic. And just a few quick announcements and reminders before we get things started today. Remember to check your latest newsletter. There's some great information on upcoming events, such as a new member orientation, the January book club, which will be Monday, and I'll talk more about that in a minute, and the next Women of Rotary event, which will be an in-person event this month. Also, nominations are now open for the Business and Professional Leader of the Year, which will be our program in mid-April, along with recognizing our college scholarship recipients. So you still have a few weeks to get those nominations in. So please take a look at the link to the nomination form in your weekly newsletter. We also have details on how you can help sponsor this year's Police and Fire Awards celebration, which is set for Tuesday, February 6th at the Clinton Library. Ed Owens and Becky Finney are co-chairing this event, and they are looking for companies and individuals who are willing to be sponsors. There are several sponsorship levels available, so please let Ed or Becky know if you're interested in supporting this important focus we put on the men and women who keep our community safe. Now with that, I do have a little fun tip for the week. And that is, in Natalie's absence, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to talk about the book club, the Club 99 book club. For those of you who have never participated in a book club before, they are fun. And the little secret that you may not be aware of is you are not tested and you don't even have to read the book. If you don't know or you haven't received it yet, you can just show up and find out what everyone else is so excited about. So on Monday, Mitch is hosting a book club meeting at 3 o'clock on Lincoln and Leadership, and I happen to have my copy here. And if you can read it or get partway through it, that is great. But book clubs are really fun social events. And one of the things Natalie talks about in this whole concept of fun is the importance of flow and connection. And fun isn't something that you force, it's just something that magically comes when people get together. And that's another element of fun, is you can read by yourself and that's okay, but it's even more fun to get together with people and have a discussion about it. So anyway, again, Monday is this book, Lincoln on Leadership. February is my book, which is the 12-week year. And that will be a happy hour event on February 22nd, starting at 5 o'clock. And then in March, Maha Witherington is doing The Loudest Duck. So that will be March 8th. So just something you want to get on your calendar. And again, if you've never been to a book club meeting, feel free to drop in and just see what it's all about. So anyway, with that, I think we have a member video we also want to share. Oops.
Christina, we might want to move on to the next item on the agenda, please.
Okay. No video today?
Hey, here we go. Here we go.
A video, but no audio.
I think Jake is working on it. Hang on just one second. We may skip it and
You go to settings and share computer audio, I think, if you haven't done that yet.
I'm not running it. Jake's running it. So let me get with him.
Yeah, whoever's running it, they have to share their computer audio.
Jake, let's go ahead and skip it and move on to the next item.
All right. All right. Well, with that, we're going to see if we can work on that. But perhaps more importantly, we're going to go to Jim Jackson, who is going to be introducing today's program. So Jim, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Christina. Where the Lion Sleeps Tonight is not just a refrain for a song we all know by heart. It is the mantra for more than 500 exotic animals that Tanya Smith and her family have rescued from drug dealers, abusive for-profit breeders such as Joe Exotic, roadside petting zoos, and many other harrowing situations. Tanya Smith formed the nonprofit Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge in 1992 when she and her parents purchased 460 acres just outside of Eureka Springs. The mission of Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge is to provide lifetime homes for abused and neglected big cats with an emphasis on tigers, lions, leopards, and cougars. With the care, safety, and welfare of animals being the #1 priority at the refuge, it is important that each animal is treated with the dignity and compassion they desperately need and deserve. Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge has developed a reputation for compassionate care across the country, specifically with law enforcement officers, universities, and others who share a commitment to the welfare of animals. If you are a law enforcement agency that conducts a drug bust and you happen to find a tiger caged in the den of a drug house, who are you going to call? If you're the president of a university that learns that one of your fraternities is housing a cougar in the frat house, who are you going to call? Tanya Smith, that's who, and these are all real examples of what she has experienced. Turpentine Creek is one of only 9 refuges accredited by the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries. These are very high standards that they have to meet to keep this accreditation. Tanya and her team are not looking at just one cat at a time. They also have the big picture in mind. If you think that rescuing a tiger from a drug dealer is a difficult achievement, Tanya and her team worked for years on an even more fearsome task. They got the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate to agree to pass a bipartisan bill that was enacted into law. They advocated for years to have a federal law passed to prevent the abuse and breeding of captive animals. The Big Cat and Public Safety Act made front page news when President Biden signed it into law on December 20th, 2022. My family and I were fortunate to be in Eureka Springs at Turpentine this summer on vacation when the Arkansas Game and Fish wildlife officers brought Fred, the first tiger cub rescued under this act, to Turpentine from a home in Conway. Turpentine Creek also started an innovative college graduate intern program in 1996, where they have trained more than 500 biologists and zoologists who are now employed at zoos, sanctuaries, and veterinary clinics worldwide. One special intern, our daughter, Olivia, took the photo of the tiger in my background this summer. Turpentine Creek had a tremendous expansion in 2023 when they received a transfer of more than 33 tigers, bobcats, and servals from a refuge in Florida this fall. This expansion comes with a tremendous cost, and Turpentine Creek is in a capital campaign to cover the cost of this expansion. Tanya will explain more in detail what these costs include. Thank you, Tanya, for giving more than 500 abused animals a warm place where they can have sweet dreams knowing they are safe while they sleep in the mighty jungle known as Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge. Susan Altrui is the director of the Little Rock Zoo, an organization committed to inspiring people to value and conserve our natural world. The zoo is one of Arkansas's largest family attractions and an important destination for recreation and tourism, and a big economic impact for Central Arkansas. As the director, Susan guides the care of more than 400 animals, ensures that the zoo maintains its accreditation with the prestigious Association of Zoos and Aquariums, and she directs the overall strategic vision of the organization. Under her leadership, the Little Rock Zoo has more than doubled its annual revenue earnings and tripled its fundraising with the Arkansas Zoological Foundation. Susan helped secure the largest private gift in the zoo's history and most recently led an effort to secure a $12 million bond for needed capital investments in the Little Rock Zoo. Susan volunteers her time on the board of Keep Little Rock Beautiful and is the former chair of the Hot Springs Documentary Film Festival. I am very excited to hear the two of you talk about your respective facilities and how both of you have developed into leaders in North America in the field of wildlife conservation. Thank you, Susan and Tanya.
Well, thank you so much, Jan. Those were really incredible introductions. And we are so proud to be here today to speak with all of you. And I could not be prouder to be a part of a program with Turpentine Wildlife Creek and Refuge. Tanya is just an incredible woman, an incredible individual, and the mission of her organization is just so powerful. So I'm honored to be here to share with you the mission of Turpentine. So thank you for making me part of this program. I wanted to start off with a quick intro for Tanya to let her talk a little bit quickly just about what is Turpentine, what is an animal rescue, and there's a little bit about your mission.
Well, Turpentine Creek is a wildlife refuge for abused, abandoned, unwanted big cats. We've rescued, like Jim said, over 500 animals in the last coming up 32 years already. I mean, I don't know how time is flying so fast, but it is. It's already been almost 32 years. You know, without the refuge, the majority of the animals that we save would have been destroyed. There's just no place for these animals to go when somebody dies or they get a divorce or just whatever life might bring you. And then suddenly that animal needs a home. I know I've gotten calls from zoos where people have tied up their lion to the front gate you know, they needed that. The zoos can't take these animals. And Susan can tell you a little bit more about that. There's just not room for them. And they're also not part of the species survival plan. So any of these animals that we're rescuing, they're coming from backyard breeders or people who thought maybe it would be a good idea to get a lion or a tiger as a pet. I mean, I've heard just about every story you could ever imagine, but and then I go on another rescue and it just blows my mind all the time of why these individuals have predators for pets. These are not pets, they are predators.
You know, it's interesting. We do a lot of work at the Little Rock Zoo to educate the public about why exotic animals like tigers and carnivores don't make good pets. There's often a misnomer that you can have a tiger or any kind of a carnivore as a pet, and they can have it as a baby, and then when it gets to be older and maybe it becomes too burdensome, we can just give it to the zoo. And we can't take those animals, like you mentioned. Zoos have very unique social groupings for our animals, and we often don't have the room. If someone was to call us today and say, "Oh, I've got a big cat, can you take it?" We wouldn't be able to. We don't have the room to take a big cat right now. So you're very right. You know, the fact that there is this misnomer about that, and there's a lot of public education to do. It's definitely a mission that you all fulfill. I think we have a video that you wanted to share. Are we going to be able to share that video, Karen?
We will give it a try. Jake, can you
Okay.
pick that up for us, please?
Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge. Experience Africa in the Ozarks when you visit Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge. Located in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge provides a lifetime home to abandoned, abused, and neglected big cats, bears, and other exotic animals. As an ethical tourism destination, you can feel good about your visit, knowing it does no harm. Your adventure provides support to Turpentine Creek's education and advocacy initiatives. It assists rescue efforts of vulnerable animals and helps our trained professionals provide the lifetime, specialized care they need. Visit our GFAS accredited sanctuary where fun and generosity runs wild.
All right, that's a great overview and a great look into what Turpentine does. We talked a little bit about the problem of private ownership of big cats. There's some really alarming statistics. There's some that estimate that there may still be around 5,000 big cats that are still in private ownership in the United States. You know, what's so alarming about that is more than there are tigers in the wild. So when you think about things like that, we've got more big cats in people's homes in the United States than we do animals living in the wild. It really just is shocking to think about. Do you maybe want to touch a little bit more on that about the problems of private ownership?
Well, you know, it's just interesting to me because we've rescued all these animals from all over the country, and many of these animals right here from Arkansas, you know, and we want to keep our state clean. So that's one of the reasons why Turpentine Creek right now has a hyena. I mean, even though, you know, big cats are our mission, we are a little bit of suckers for any animal that needs homes. And we did end up with a hyena named Rambo. So we do have a little bit of a variety of animals here at the sanctuary. But, you know, being a nonprofit big cat sanctuary, you know, with a budget of going on $6 million this year, it's not easy. You know, we are not government funded or federally funded. We are funded through the generosity of our donors. And without our donors, then we can't do what we do every day to rescue and then provide lifetime care for the animals that we save. All the animals that we save, they don't go anywhere else once they're here. They're here until they pass away of natural causes. And because of our vet care and the great care that the animals get, and that after taking care of all these animals, we've become really good at geriatric care. So the animals' lives are double, you know, the life expectancy is doubling on these animals that we have here. We lost one tiger last year at 1 week shy of 25 years old, which is just unheard of for these big cats to live that long. So anything over 12 to 14 years of age is considered geriatric. And
How many residents do you have right now?
we have 115 animals that we're taking care of on a daily basis.
Wow. That's a lot of animals to care for.
Yeah, and just like Jim said earlier in the introduction, we had taken 33 cats from Big Cat Rescue in Tampa, Florida. And if any of you saw the Tiger King saga, I apologize that you had to go through that or you watched that, because it was just horrible and it didn't tell anything about what these animals are going through. And now we've rescued from pretty much 4 of the people that were actually in that show. The Department of Justice, since I'm the rescue committee chair for the Big Cat Sanctuary Alliance, which is another foundation that we formed so we can work with these other 9 sanctuaries across the country to be able to accommodate animals when I get a call, because with there only being a few of us, the calls come in from California, from New York. We've been to 18 different states rescuing animals in the last 30 years. With those calls coming in, it's nice to know that there's other good sanctuaries out there that can help. And, when we first started, I thought we were the only ones out there doing this work. All I knew of was the other bad guys out there doing the breeding and the abuse to the animals that I'd heard of for years. So, it was really nice whenever we did the Colorado project, which you can read about a little bit more on our website, but I was actually boots on the ground in Colorado for 6.5, 7 months, where we had taken over a breeding facility there that was disguised as a sanctuary. And we ended up saving all 115 big cats, but without those other organizations, then we couldn't have saved those animals. So it's nice to have those affiliations and be able to work with others. If I got a call from California, I can call somebody that's closer, or if we can share alliance equipment and stuff, that really helps. So, but here in Arkansas, we are one of the largest. We are the only sanctuary here that does this kind of work. And in the United States, I would say we're the best out there. So I appreciate you guys having us on today, just to share a little bit of our mission. I do want to invite each and every one of you to come and visit. On the first of the call, I heard somebody had stayed at our sanctuary. We have actually 10 lodging units here that we had to get diverse whenever we started. Since we're not funded by any government means or anything, it's really it's a necessity that we actually can raise funds in all different. So we had to get diversified. So we started the lodging to help our donors stay longer, because the longer you're here, the more you're going to see and the more you're going to fall in love with the mission.
I've stayed at the lodge before, and it's such a great experience to wake up and to hear the big cats howling in the morning time. Like, that is just an absolutely incredible experience. So I would encourage everyone to do it. It makes for a great place to bring your family, or you can even have a work retreat there. So I'm planning on taking my staff up there for a work retreat this year. So it's really spectacular. So definitely get up there to the lodge. It's a really great way to enjoy the facility and to support Turpentine. I want to touch a little bit more on the Joe Exotic situation. For those that may have watched the special, what I found a little bit troubling is there were some people that almost kind of had this like hero mentality about Joe Exotic, and almost kind of, thought that he was done wrong in that situation. And those of us in the zoological community, he's been on our radar for a long time as an animal abuser. And, it's great that he's been brought to justice, and that the other actors that associated with him are being brought to justice as well. Maybe talk a little bit about what you saw and some of the abuses that you encountered when rescuing these animals.
Well, when we got the call from the Department of Justice to go into the Tiger King Park with Jeff and Lauren Lowe, they had taken over for Joe Exotic. That was an interesting situation whenever you're going in with 50 or 60 armed professionals, that all the different police departments and the Department of Justice, and they're not playing around whenever they go in. And, they're in full gear. And I'm wondering where my safety vest is most of the time. And I get told that, ma'am, with all of us here, you don't need a safety vest. But I felt like I did whenever I go on these huge rescues because these people are dangerous, you know. They if they'll abuse people, they will abuse animals, and that's, you know, that's the way it is in the world, it seems like. And the abuse that Joe Exotic was giving to the animals was terrifying. You know what? We have a black jaguar here that came from there, and he lived with 2 white lions. You know, the crazy thing is that these people are trying to cross these genetics of these different animals that, I mean, right now we have Thai ligers, we have Tigons, we have
Horrible.
all these different animals that should not even be bred. They should have never been bred like that. A lot of white tigers, and you know, you only get a white tiger through inbreeding. So it's pretty sad whenever you really think about the animals and what they had to go through before they came to sanctuary. And you know, our goal is to provide the best ending of their life that we possibly can. Most of these animals are endangered species. Um, you know, that's pretty sad that whenever an endangered species is being treated like a just a something that can be disposable, thrown away. You know, it's pretty sad whenever we get these calls and we have to go out and then we see what we see in the different organizations. I mean, Mountain Berg Rescue, that's one here locally that we did. Out of Mountain Berg, Arkansas, there were 34 big cats there. They were living in cages like dog kennels. So you can only imagine the fear of going on this property, and you've got large predators that could have broke out at any time. And you know, the first 12 times we went to Mountain Berg in 2014, we actually had to have armed guards with us because if one of the cats would have got out, then it could have taken any one of my team. So, you know, these are the things that we're dealing with whenever we go into these different rescue situations. Is you never know what you're going to see. You never know how the animal had been treated. They're usually scared until they get out of the situation and realize that once they're here, that they're going to get all their needs met, and there's no reason to fear anymore.
You mentioned the Mountain Berg case. That I believe that was the case of a woman who was hoarding big cats, and she had become sick and had called on the sheriff's department to assist, and they called you all. If I remember correctly, the sheriff's office was literally having to guard the area with guns because the cats are in such horrible conditions that it was literally like cats in dog cages. It was just horrible. And I think that she had something like 30 plus animals. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, there was 34 there when we got there. Before she had over 100 though, and was in West Fork. She was in West Fork and ended up somebody had gotten killed there and a couple bad injuries, and then she moved out onto this mountain top in Mountain Berg. But Miss Betty Young, and she did die 1 year after we did the last rescue. So it wasn't any too soon that we got in there, and the sheriff came in saying, if you can't help me, I'm going to have to kill all these cats. And so that just sprung us into action. Even though we didn't have the resources, we didn't have the cages available for them, we had to build a whole new area to accommodate these animals. And so we built 2 cages and go after 2 cats. We built 2 cages, go after 2 cats, and until we got the whole project done. And now that area serves as what we call our rescue ridge. It's for our older animals. It's really close to our vet hospital that's right here on site. And, you know, it's just exciting that to see it grow because there's smaller habitats for the animals. And each one in the summer, they get a short pool and a short bench so they can easily get up as they age. And they're not as agile as they are when they're so young.
That's wonderful. I want to transition a little bit into the work that you have done on the Big Cat Public Safety Act of 2022. We did a little bit of work on this as well because we had some key actors here in Arkansas, Senator Bozeman, who served on the Senate committee that worked on that piece of legislation. They pulled me in to help assist in that a little bit. And I actually got to know Carol Baskin a little bit, who recently you all have taken over some of their cats. And they're now shifting to more of a conservation focus with their institution organization. And, what a champion for big cats. She has just been such a champion for saving big cats, and especially for the Big Cat Public Safety Act. I don't think that you'll see a stronger advocate also for that. So you all have also recently taken on their cats, but in the advocacy of the Big Cat Public Safety Act, this now prohibits private ownership and breeding of big cats in this country, which is desperately needed. But right, what I think is just great about our state is that we kind of led the way first. Arkansas was one of the first states in the country to ban the private ownership of carnivores. And that's largely because of you and the work of Turpentine that happened in 2005. And, years before there was even a thought of a Big Cat Public Safety Act. And maybe talk a little bit about that, about the need for the banning of the private ownership of big cats and kind of your work in this area.
It's been a long time coming, Susan, but thank God something has happened now, and we actually get to, our goal is not to have to be here. Honestly, any nonprofit, whenever you're involved in a nonprofit, I don't know of any nonprofit that can say that, there's an end to your goal, but ours is, we want to actually see no private ownership of big cats. We've seen too many horrors across the nation to allow this to continue to happen. The Big Cat Public Safety Act hopefully will change what we're doing. We can, if it actually everything goes as planned, we should be able to not have to rescue animals in the next 20 years. There's always an underground. That's what we've learned too, is, if you're not allowed to have one as a pet, then there's always going to be that underground. And, it's as bad as guns or drugs or human trafficking, exotic animal, they're all fall in the same category, basically, whenever you're dealing with the people that we deal with. And we do call them the bad guys. They are bad guys out there. In 2005, we actually had one of our past interns that was going to U of A, and he wanted to champion a bill. So he got with Phil Jackson here. And that's how that actually got instituted in the state of Arkansas, is one of our past interns actually wrote that bill, and with a few adjustments got it to Phil Jackson, and that got passed in the state of Arkansas. And I'm just so grateful for that, because that was just the beginning. It took us this long, though, to get a nation law that prevents people from actually owning these animals and breeding, but it doesn't take them away from them. What they were supposed to do is they're supposed to register those animals. The sad thing is, it's not very many people register. I've seen the list, and there's probably not 100 people on that list. And I know that there's thousands of animals out there that are going to need homes. And that's why we started the Freedom Field Project. We got with Carol and Howard Baskin with Big Cat Rescue. They are sitting on a piece of property that's worth millions of dollars. So it's about 60 acres in Tampa. Their goal was, once the bill got passed, to actually change their mission and start being philanthropists for the animals. So we went ahead and agreed to take on all their animals. They paid $1.72 million on about a $3.5 million project to build out our 13.5 acre Freedom Field area. I just looked at the numbers, and we've raised about 30% of a $7.5 million capital campaign that we're in the middle of right now. And, some of the Freedom Field opportunities, I'd love to talk to some of the people that are on this call. If you ever want to have your name on a habitat here, there's opportunities available. We've got 14 big cat habitats that need sponsored, and quite a few of the others that could be sponsored also. And for as little as $100,000, you could get your name on one of those habitats. And I've been to a lot of zoos, and I mean, for a zoo to do a project where the habitat's a quarter or half an acre, it's going to be millions of dollars. And that's not what's needed here. Yeah.
That's a
and
deal.
a lot of red tape. So, we're just excited that the project, we've got all the big cat rescue cats here. So we've been very busy in 2023 and 2024, taking care of a third more of our population than what we had before. So we've hired a lot of people to come in as animal care providers, as interns. We have 17 interns right now, which is the most we've ever had. It's a great project. Most of these are, all of these people are biologists, zoologists from all over the world. They
We've
come
hired
in.
staff from your intern program. So you do a lot of training for the entire zoological community.
Yes, and that's what happens is once they go through our internship, it basically takes their resume and puts it on the top of the stack of 400 for that one job at the zoo that's available. And it's also helped over the years because we started that internship in 1997. And just for an example, there was a cougar in the Bronx, New York that needed to get out of the city. So I'd gotten a call on it. Because of the past work that we've done with the Department of Justice and World Animal Protection and some other people, I could make some phone calls. But we also had 3 past interns at the Bronx Zoo. So that was exciting because I couldn't leave at the time to go to New York and get that animal, but I was able to work with my people that were there in New York. And actually, they went, got the cat, brought it back to the zoo, kept it over the weekend until I could fly our veterinarian out to New York to pick up the cat and drive it home. With another past intern that actually was living, and staff member that was living on Staten Island. So, the connections that we make through and that we've created is just amazing through this internship program. When we did the Colorado project, I talked about, Emily and Scott and I, my curator and my husband's our vice president and myself, we had went to Colorado to look at the situation, and it was appalling. There's nothing that you can't get those things out of your head once you see them. It was so bad that we decided we were gonna, on the way home, Emily started texting. She texted 12 past interns, 2 that worked at the Denver Zoo. They were within 100-mile radius of Denver. And within 20 minutes, 10 of them had emailed back, said, whatever you need, we're here. And, that was amazing. So on their days off from the zoo or from their veterinarian practice, they would come out to help us with these 115 big cats and bear that were there. And actually, I never got a bill from the 2 veterinarians that were interns in Colorado that we used through the project. They never sent a bill in. They just did that gratis for the sanctuary, and it was great to have them. So that's the type of network that we've built over the years.
Awesome. Those networks are so important and so key. One other thing about the Big Cat Public Safety Act is that it also restricts direct contact with the public. And something that I think that a lot of people are uneducated about is, you see these opportunities to do things like take pictures with cute tiger cubs. And you think, oh, well, it's just a tiger cub. It's not going to hurt me. And what's the harm in it? Can maybe talk a little bit about the harm that there is in doing things like that and really what's kind of behind the scenes and some of that stuff.
What's happened over the years with, these Tiger King people is that they realize there's a big profit in that. So they're constantly speed breeding those cats so they could have cubs available because they're only good for about 3 months. The first month, they're really too young. They shouldn't be using them in the first place. But by the time they're 4 months old, then they're 40 pounds and full of teeth and can do some damage if they were to bite somebody. And that's kind of why the law was so necessary, is because we had to stop that. Because if we don't stop the source of these animals being out there, then we're never going to solve the problem. So that was definitely the key to solving the problem, is to stop the breeding and the selling and the bartering and the trading of these animals. That's what happens a lot of times, is as the animal gets 4 to 5 months old, it's suddenly a liability. So they can only use them for that short period of time. And then once that time frame is over, those cats, if they don't go into a breeding population, then they just as soon euthanize them, or they do barter or sell them out to the public.
And they also can do a lot of cruel things to them as well, pulling incisors and filing down claws or removing claws. We've seen all kinds of things with it. It's just a really cruel practice. And I know even at our state fair in recent years, they've had some opportunities for holding cubs. And so, they're not anymore, but I've always cringed whenever I see things like that and see the public getting involved in that, because there is really a lack of education for those types of things.
Yeah,
for sure.
and it's something that we've learned over the years too, is that, we, in the beginning, we did some things that we don't do ever anymore, and one thing is we are hands-on sanctuary. We want everybody to leave with their hands on. So, it's really important that if no hands ever go in the cage, nobody's going to lose an arm, but whenever you're petting or playing with these animals, they can do some damage, and they don't mean to, but they don't have any remorse either once they've done their damage, because they're animals.
Absolutely. Well, I think that we have another video before we go to the Q&A. And because the Rotary is all about fun this year, we thought it would be good to show some of the big cats having fun with some of their enrichment items. So do we have that video queued up and ready to show?
Looks like we're having a little difficulty. Susan, we want to move on and maybe come back to this in a bit. Would that work?
Sure, sure. We can just talk real briefly about animal enrichment. You see the cats kind of playing with a big ball and a Christmas tree there. Animals love having items that are different and unique to enhance their environments, and it stimulates their natural instincts and in things like smell and touch and taste, and it also elicits a lot of their wild behaviors too, like you see the cat there kind of clawing, et cetera. And if there's anything there that you might want to add, Tanya, about enrichment.
It's so important because they're so smart, so they need to be mentally stimulated, so they just don't be so bored. And that's something we're constantly doing, is getting whatever we can. The trees are great because it's almost like catnip for them. We have an enrichment garden here that we pick from with catnip and different things that we grow. People donate perfumes or tubes, cardboard tubes. If you have any of those are great. Just boxes and different things that we can paint. And after they're done playing with it, it looks like a little trash in there, but we go in once every 5 days and clean all the habitats, redo all the enrichment for every animal gets enrichment here at least every 5 days. And it's just really important that they develop those different stimulations in their mind, so they're not so bored and causing problems, because we know anytime anything is idle, then they're looking for different things to get in trouble with, and we don't want them to do that either. So we want to keep them busy.
Our cats love the big tubes. Those are a lot of fun, or any kind of cardboard tube. They just love playing with those things. And of course, the boomer balls, those are always fun. And we talked a little bit about how folks can get involved. Why don't we wrap up with that before we go to question and answer? You can donate enrichment items to Turpentine and purchase an enrichment item, correct?
Yes, and we have wish lists on Amazon, and if you can't make it here, you can always ship something here. That's great. There's just a lot of great opportunities for you to donate. Old perfumes and things like that, we spray those on the cardboard, and the cats just love those smells. It gets the pheromones and hormones in the perfume. They love Obsession for some reason. That's must have more pheromones in it than others, but that's their favorite.
That's funny. And of course, staying at the lodge is a great way to help enrichment donations, cash donations of any kind. And I always tell people about the zoo, and this is true for you all as well, is just to come and visit. Come and see what's going on. And when you pay to visit, that's contributing to the organization. If every Arkansan, we've got 3 million Arkansans, if every Arkansan would visit, then that would help the organization. So just come visit. I mean, that alone is huge.
Yeah, and you know, we have values for contribute. You know, if you want to do a membership, we have different membership levels, and that's a great way to get involved because and we also have adoptions and sponsorships of our animals. You can find all that information online. I mean, we might as well have our own YouTube channel because we have so many YouTube videos out there. If you guys just have downtime and you want to see some fun videos or rescue videos, we videotape just about everything we do here because when we go on a rescue now, we want to make sure that we're not accused later of telling the wrong story. So we let the people tell the story, and then that's what we go by.
Absolutely. Well, I think with that, we're ready for some Q&A.
Awesome.
Can you tell them about
Having a hard time hearing whoever's trying to say something. You might need to work on your volume a little bit.
Is this better?
Feel free to type it in the chat too.
Can you tell people about the veterinarian clinic and the size of the MRI machine and how these animals need hips and legs taken care of and how that works?
Thank you, Jim. Yes. And I want to thank Jim because he joined our board of directors last year, and we're really excited to have him on our team. The veterinary hospital was built in 2016, and it's changed our world here. I mean, you can imagine before that, having to haul a tiger, lion, bear across the county to get to a veterinarian hospital 40 minutes away that doesn't have a table big enough for our cat, having to actually pick up a 600-pound animal and take it through a series of hallways to get it on a table that isn't big enough for the animal. So we are blessed right now. Our donors are really, when we said, we really want to build this vet hospital, it happened. It happened quickly. And we couldn't have done it without our donors because it's changed everything. Now, if we have to draw blood or anything like that, just do any routine care, or we have to do a major surgery, that can happen right here on property. And it's a state-of-the-art veterinarian hospital designed by our people, made for the animals that we care for every day. And we do have a veterinarian that started out as an intern. She worked for me and she married an intern. Her name's Dr. Kellen Sweely. She was actually here working and came to me one day and said, Tanya, we need a veterinarian here really bad. I've always wanted to be a vet. That was my goal when I started an internship here. And Jared's going to support me while I go to vet school, and we'll be back in 4 years. And they did it. And by that time, we actually had a veterinarian hospital built, and she could come right in 2018 and start her work here. She started out part-time, but now since we've taken in all these big cat rescue cats, we have to have her full-time. So she's working full-time now. And, at a sanctuary like this, you're going to see everything you can never imagine. I mean, I never imagined these different horrors that these cats would go through. Metabolic bone disease is a big thing, and that's really why we did the Colorado project. When we went there to investigate the property, we saw that one of the tiger cubs couldn't even walk. They had to pull the water bowl to it and the food dish right underneath its mouth so it could even get a drink or eat. And that was Rockland, Peyton, and Blackfire. When we left there, came back in 3 weeks to make the deal on the property and get rid of that guy who was being so bad to those animals. All 3 of the cubs couldn't walk. So it was just those are the things I talk about when you can't unsee something. By the time we got them here to the sanctuary, got them in our heated floor vet hospital, the 3 cubs were so broken up that we had to do some major therapy for them to get them healed and healed properly, which we did. And all 3 of the cats are living here at the sanctuary and are growing and doing great. You know, they have other issues too. Unfortunately, one of them has a sliding hiatal hernia that moves kind of up and down that we've just had to deal with, but now he's like 500 pounds. So it's not easy to get him from place to place, but because he has trust in us, it makes it easy for him. He'll load really easy for us. And then, you know, we don't always have to tranquilize him whenever we've got to do work on him. But, you know, those are the horrors that we see sometimes. The mountain bird rescue, you know, the first cat we took out of there had a tumor on it this big, just protruding off the backside of it. So we loaded that the first day there in our trailer and took it straight to our veterinarian in Green Forest at the time. So, you know, those are the things that people don't, you know, these cats never see a veterinarian until they get to sanctuary because, you know, the people that have them just don't care about the animal itself. They're in it for the greed and the profit of trying to make a dollar.
Well, and the lack of understanding too. It's a very specialized care that these animals need. Tanya, speaking of the specialized care, we've got a question of where do you get all the food for the animals?
Oh, you know, we're so blessed that we've been friends with Tyson for probably 40 years now. You know, my dad rescued the first line in 1978. So I was raised around this. That's why I think I have the passion that I do for it. But so Tyson will donate quite a bit of meat. You know, they'll over 300,000 pounds a year. But when they call, they'll say, hey, we got 150,000 pounds of something. And, you know, where do you put 150,000 pounds of meat? So we decided that we would start working with Don Cold Storage. Don Cold Storage, actually, Tyson will ship the meat over there, and then we go after it at 10,000 pounds at a time. So even though the meat is donated through Tyson, the storage fees aren't. My storage bills are running about $4,000 a month just to store that free meat. And, you know, we also do buy specialized Nebraska brand diet. You know, the regular meat doesn't have all the integrals of the animals. We're not feeding those. So that muscle meat needs supplements. So we're getting, we give a lot of supplements here on top of the meat that we feed every day. So, you know, and then we feed about 600 pounds of meat in the winter, about 800 pounds of meat daily to our 115 animals here, plus about 200 pounds of produce in the summer and spring and fall to our bear. So we have actually 8 bear here. 5 of them came from the Colorado Project. We couldn't find a home for these bears. When we looked all over the nation, there was just no place for them to go. So we ended up bringing them back here to our sanctuary here in Arkansas.
That's incredible. Another question. We love your organization and have stayed overnight on the property, and it says that you've been doing this for a very long time. What keeps you going?
Whenever I get down, I just go out and look at the animals. When you got over 200 eyes staring at you, you know, you don't really have a choice. You have to just get back into it and just do what you can on a day-to-day basis to make sure that the animals are getting all their needs met. You know, my mom told me years ago, my parents are both passed, they've been gone a while, but you know, if we can't do any more than just get the animals here, give them the vet care they need, make sure they have a clean place to live and fresh food and water, then we're doing all we can. We've come a long way since then, but you know, I always said she'd like to keep things in tight little compartments where she could control it. And now we have all these expanded habitats that are, you know, a third of an acre to a half an acre each, some of them. So there's some great space for these animals to get the enrichment and get the exercise that they need. And it's just been an amazing journey. We got a long way to go though. And with this Freedom Field build out, it's been a huge endeavor for us. you know, whenever you think about Freedom Field being a 13-acre expansion onto the property, it's 44 habitats total, to put it into real layman terms. And that's a big, big investment. But we're willing to do it. We're doing it out of the goodness of our hearts to save more animals, because this bill's been passed and we know that there's animals that are needing our help. We know of cases where the people are being indicted right now, and those cages will fill up, those habitats will fill up very quickly as soon as we get them built. And we're planning to have all the habitats down there completed by spring of this year.
Awesome. Well, I'm being told that we're getting close to time. So if you would just give everyone that website address one more time so that they know where to go for more information.
TCWR.org. That'll get you right into Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge. And you can always Google us. Don't forget the YouTube videos. There's a lot of fun videos on there. And if you have any questions, please reach out. My email is just Tanya, TANYA, @tcwr.org. And I'm happy to answer any questions for you guys. I appreciate you having me on today. And Susan, thank you for all the work that you do for the zoo. It's been a great partnership. The zoo has a fund that they help give a donation to us from time to time, and we just are grateful for it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for all the work that you do. We could not be more proud of having this in our great state of Arkansas, and for all that you do. We are just so blessed to have Turpentine. So thanks for being here today with us.
Thank you.
All right, this is Christina Bullhouse again, jumping in. My video won't come back on, so I'm going to be here a little bit behind the scenes. I just want to thank you so much for a great discussion. In fact, I was taking notes. I've got like 2 pages of notes here, so just very valuable information. And you're just doing such amazing things, and we are so appreciative of your time and your willingness to pivot and go to this Zoom call. This really has just been great. So I'm so glad we didn't have to defer this. And before you jump off the Zoom, I do want you to know we are going to be mailing you a gift. It's a little fun piece that you can put on your desk to remind you of today's visit. It's a mural. It's a little picture of a mural. There it is on screen. That it's down in the river market, and of course, the intent is to promote our beautiful natural surroundings and the fun that you can have here in Little Rock. This year, as you may have heard, our Rotary theme is all about the power of fun, especially it being the key to our health and happiness. So this is a daily reminder to look for those true fun moments in life. And as a reminder to everyone else, we've got great events coming up. We also have a fun social that's in the works. So look for details in the newsletter. And there was one other thing. Oh, yes, next week. Let's talk about next week's program. We're going to be learning more about the city's real-time crime center. We're going to have Mayor Frank Scott here, Chief of Police Heath Helton, and Jay Cheshire with the Little Rock Chamber of Commerce. So stay warm, everyone, and enjoy the snow day. We will see you next week, and we are officially adjourned. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.